help retain their childhood innocence. To do justice to this issue is an entrepreneur, a finance educator, certified neuro-linguistic programmer, and an author. Let's meet Ramat Akerele Tiamiyu, aka Coach Ramat.
I believe that everybody, man, woman, has got a turning point. And let me say my own turning point came in the middle of a breakdown. So it had to do with financial challenges. My husband and I were having, and we are still working. But then these challenges, these financial challenges, yes. So I thought it's not better to start, nurturing children to have better experiences when it comes to money, when it comes to using their knowledge, skills, and ideas, to make impact in the world.
Girls run the world, girls who run the world, girls.
For this and more, tune in to Ladylike on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. only on the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5 Abuja.
Welcome to Young Hearts, where vibrant minds converge to ignite the flame of innovation.
A program designed to inspire, educate.
Join us on a journey of exploration and empowerment on Young Hearts.
At Young Hearts, we believe in the power of youth to shape the future.
You can say we are too young and we know too much.
There are so many young people who are very skilled and talented.
Join us as we embark on this transformative journey of discovery and growth.
Join us
Every Monday, 5:30 p.m.
at 5:30 p.m.
on NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
For every nation to thrive and for growth and development to occur, certain people must put in all it takes. Today, on Heroes of Abuja, we will be meeting one of the legends of our time. His Royal Highness Alhaji Ismail Danladi Muhammad, born on September 4, 1955 in Kaduna, began his education at Karushi Junior Primary School, sharing fascinating tales of his journey.
I was born in Kaduna, where my father was then working as a health inspector. In Hausa they call it Dubagari in Kaduna. My mother is not from here, my mother is from Kano. And her own father, that is my maternal grandfather, is actually Kanuri. But they settled in Hotoro. in Kano, but she met my father in Kaduna, where they got married when he was working there. We are 6 in the family, but he left Kaduna around 1960 back home here after he retired. Then he came with us back to Kashi here with him.
His career took a significant turn when he moved to Kaduna to join his siblings, marking the start of his path in journalism.
I was in Kaduna the whole of 67, 68, 69, 70, 72. That's 4 years, virtually doing nothing. But at that time there was the Civil War. You know, it started in 67, ended in 1970. So there are shortages of typists, you know, because almost all the typists in northern Nigeria were Igbos, especially. So there was scarcity of typists. So they were asking northern boys who didn't go to school to go and do copy typing. So they opened a school in Benue Road in Kaduna around 1968 by one, well, the man became famous, one ABG Garba, who set up a satellite, AB satellite. So he went to Russia and bought second-hand typewriters. So most of us went there to learn how to type, you know. So it was called Arewa Advancement Classes. He had a commercial arm called Arewa Advancement Enterprises. So he now set up this class called Arewa Advancement Classes. So the people just go and register. They have these old Russian typewriters and we learn how to type. So before you finish, the ministries will come and recruit. So we were called copy typists. Because there are no typists, all the Igbos have left, the Igbo women. So I learned now how to type. And then immediately I had somebody in the New Nigerian who was from KP and he knew me. And he said, since I knew how to type, I could come and begin to type. So I was employed in the New Nigerian right up from primary school. So I was there as a copy typist.
Despite living mostly in northern Nigeria, he embraced a broader perspective by serving in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, during his National Youth Service, experiencing the richness of other parts of the country.
The NYSC, I was initially posted to Borno State. So I went and met the people who are doing the post in Zaria and said, look, all my life I grew up in the north. Why would I go and serve in Borno? The man was very happy. Said, you want to serve in the south? I said, why in the south? I said, Rivers. He gladly posted me to Rivers. So we went there. This was, of course, September of 1980. We served 80-81. The first thing that shocked me is the excessive rainfall there. It was raining 24 hours round the clock. But interestingly, they are some of the most friendliest persons around. They love northerners. In fact, it's like they defer to us, you know. So I was initially posted to Bori. Bori is 1 hour's drive from Port Harcourt. It's a school called Regina Cheli Teachers College, Port Harcourt. I was posted there to teach. I did my NYC there in Port Harcourt. And let me tell you, my 1 year in Port Harcourt has remained the best 1 year of my life up to today. 3 of my mates actually got married from Port Harcourt. 2 of them Ikore girls. I don't want to know, they are very popular people in Nigeria today. They married from Port Harcourt. And after I left, for the next 5 years, after the service, every annual leave that I got, I spent it in Port Harcourt. So for me, it's like a second home. They are some of the best people in the world, quite frankly. So the NYC is something that I said, Yakubu Gawan was a master stroke. It's one of the best things that he did for the country. Otherwise, some of us in the north or some of them in the south would never have known any other part of the country than their own.
Karshi, a historic community established in 1366, saw settlers migrate from Kano around 1945. Despite its rich history, Karshi initially had only one primary school, forcing children to seek education in nearby areas like Suleja and Nasarawa State.
Karshi was established in 1366. Not this present site. It's just 2-3 kilometers away. Occupied, that is our ancestral. We moved here in 1945. That's at the end of the Second World War. I enrolled in Karshi Primary School in 1961. That's primary one. At that time it's called junior primary school. You do 1 to 4 years and then you transfer to Kefi to do what they call senior primary school. So I was in Karshi junior primary school from 1961 to 1964. Then from 1965, December is precisely January 1965 to December 1967, I finished my what they call senior primary school in Kefi. The school was called at that time Maloney, Captain Maloney Primary School. Maloney was a colonial officer that was killed during the war with the Europeans and is buried in Kano. I mean in Kefi at the hills there. So the school was named after him. But when we were there, I think around 1966, when we were in primary 6, they renamed the school to Ahmadu Mekoto Primary School. Ahmadu Mekoto was then the emir of Kefi. So we left primary school in 1967, as I said. But I didn't pass the common entrance examination to secondary school. Most of us didn't, especially those of us came from the rural areas. For some reasons, there are 2 schools in Kefi. One was for the indigenous House of Fulani population in Kefi. So they do 1 to 7 there. Then the suburbs, Karishi, Karu, and the others, and some villages where you have 1 to 4, they now feed this senior primary school, which is just 3 years, 5, 6, and 7. So most of us didn't pass.
Faced with a lack of educational access, Karshi saw transformative change under the leadership of His Royal Highness Ismail Al-Ladi Muhammad. He spearheaded efforts to establish more primary and secondary schools, ensuring students could excel in WAEC exams and pursue higher education. Today, Karshi's educational success story stands as a testament to his impactful leadership.
What we try to do, we try to identify the problems of our people and then try to see, we analyze, you identify them, we analyze it, and then try to see what is it that is required to be done so that we can make some progress as a people. The number one problem here is education. And it's not peculiar to Karshi, the whole of FCT. Before 1981, there is not a single secondary school in the present FCT. Not one. Not one. The FCT as we know it today, before 1981, only primary schools were existing. So if you want to go to primary, you have to go to Suleja, then Abuja, or you go to Government College, Kefi. So that's how bad the situation is. And we realize that without an educated people, we are as good as non-existent. So what we try to do, we try to analyze the problem, and we realize that even though we have these secondary schools here, in most of the communities, they set up secondary schools, but the indigenous students were not passing their WAEC. And we realized that that was because they are day students. The non-indigenous, because they don't live here, they pay for their children to be boarders. But the indigenous students who live with their parents, whose parents are not educated in any case, they are not boarders. And when they come back home, of course, the parents are not educated and they don't have the benefit of boarding school. So they are not passing their wife. So what we decided, we initiated a scheme where we a pilot project where we began with 15, 20 people, and we said, look, you go to boarding. So we started the boarding, and the school fees, is very minimal. So we started the program, and at a point we had over 100. We got some friends who also got involved by paying the boarding fee, and it worked like magic for us. And we found out that by the first set of students we had, after we initiated the boarding, we found that over 80% of the students were passing their WAEC. So that has been a major achievement for us, and this thing has been going on for so many years now.
Beyond education, Karshi needed to catch up with the infrastructure of other satellite towns like Kubwa and Suleja. The community took bold steps, launching developmental projects that significantly improved Karshi's infrastructure, marking a new era of progress.
Is to try to attract development, physical development around Karshi. Because Karshi is in a corner, we're in a small corner tucked away. So you find out that other areas like Buhari, they have law school, Gwagwalada, they have a university there, isn't it? Besides the university, they also have some. So most of these other satellite towns, of course, Garki is the center. Most satellite towns have one thing they are going for them. But those of us who are hidden here, Karshi said that from here you can't go, you have to go back. So they don't know we are here. And so we have to make efforts, deliberate efforts, using fortunately some of the contacts that we have in government, people that we either know in school and they are now minister at FCT or a director here, or some of them are even classmates. One of them was even classmates and all that, or two of them. So we use that opportunity to say, please help us and bring this road to Karshi, bring this project to Karshi, help us. And we have been very fortunate, and I can tell you, as I speak to, there's no satellite town that's more developed than Karshi in terms of facilities and infrastructure in this last 27 years. And it's because we've made deliberate effort to attract, to talk to people in government to help us.
His Royal Highness Ismail Adanladi Muhammad's achievements are a significant milestone for Karshi and the FCT. As development spread, security became a key concern. Together with his cabinet and community, he implemented strategic measures to ensure safety and prosperity for all.
Every community has its peculiarity, and you have to assess your own situation and know the kind of prescription that's best for you. You can't have a universal application for all the communities because the things differ from one. So in our own case here, what we have done, we have set up a dialogue, a meeting. We meet every last Thursday of the month, unfailingly, unless it falls on Christmas Day or Salah. Now at that meeting, all the villages in Karshi Shibdon will be in attendance, all of them, without exception. The village heads, all the district heads will also be in attendance, without exception. The DPO will be there. The representative of the DSS will be there. Civil defense will be there. Then we have community leaders. Igbo community leader, Yoruba community leader, Ibra community leader, Hausa, all of them will be there. So we've given them a guideline, a template. So every village is a whole day meeting, and we host them. Every district head will host his village heads, and we now every village will say, oh, look, in the last 1 month, between the last, this is what happened in my village area, my community. They will all talk, the district will do. So we know precisely where the problem is, and we know exactly what to do. Let me give you an example. All these district heads and village heads, all of them, we have their numbers. I personally have their numbers. They also have the numbers of each other. In other words, there is no village head in Karshi that does not have a number of other village heads. There is no district head in Karshi that does not have the telephone number, cell number of other district heads. And the DC and the villages, I have their number. And I've asked them to call me at 3 or 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night. In addition, of course, the security agents that we share number, which is common, which is normal, the norm. So, and we have asked the villagers to tell their farmers, anytime they are on the farms, on their farms, and they see anybody crisscrossing the bush, and the person looks to them as a suspicious person, they should abandon the farm and immediately rush to the villager and inform him. Immediately. Either they are coming in a truck, on a motorcycle, and carrying an AK-47. So be rest assured, if anything happens in any of my villages, within the next 10 minutes I'll be in the know.
As we continue our chat with His Royal Highness, our lens captured a beneficiary of his scholarship scheme. Here's what he has to say.
I think the pilot project, which he said were among the pilot project, and I think what really touches him then was my father was very close to him though before he died. He was Madaki, and also the Majin Dad and Sarki. That was like all the affairs that has to do with the interior, financial, and everything of the area is on his lesson. So when I lost my dad, before even I lost him, he picked interest like he wanted to more people. But then I think in the whole of EPSIC we don't have an engineer, we don't have medical doctors, and we don't have most of the professional courses. And just like he earlier explained, so he picked interest in us. So we're among the pilot from secondary school. I think WIC fees then was 4,600, but a lot of parents cannot pay, so he paid for us. So after university, from my year 1 to final year at the university, I enjoyed the scholarship. I think nobody will know where we come from. It was surprising to know I have a car when I was from my year 1 because of the scholarship. Then they are giving us about 40,000, which is a huge amount of money. So it's still under a scholarship. So I benefit from year 1 to, that is my final year in university. Then after the university again, so looking at my result and performance, and also I partake a lot in activities of unionism and not actually politics. So he decided that he wanted to send me out to study again. So which I went for my first MSc, that is in software engineering, and after that I still went back to my second master's in advanced transport and distant railway. So all these things are under his scholarship, which I benefit. And aside that, again, I have almost 2 political appointments during the time of Kauram Bauchi. It was due to his influence as a board member FCT, and there are a lot of things I cannot mention honestly. The influence I use today is his influence. And
all the cabinet members also lent their voices regarding his leadership style.
His Royal Highness is our traditional head, and I'm also fortunate to be his nephew, the younger brother to my father, and I'm also the Galadima of Karshi, so I have dual relationship with him. Like you can see how we are relating when you met us here at the council meeting. You found out that we have an amicable, relationship with him, because he has been a very dynamic and open leader to us, and is very accommodating to every facet of the community, including indigenous and non-indigenous within the community. He has been very liberal, very open, and that is why we found him very suitable to relate with him, and we will be doing our best to assist him to make sure that he propel this emirate or chiefdom in good faith.
Sir King Karichi is a very good man. He's very straightforward. He's not biased. He treats people equally. He talks straight. Whenever he's taking decision, he goes straight and firm. Once he says yes, he says. He doesn't bend at all. Therefore, I highly recommend him as one of the best chiefs in FCT Abuja. We enjoy him very well. And whenever we have a time like this, we learn a lot of things. We are always interested to be in this type of mood because we are adding our education every day. It brings ideas outside and we can see how Karshi is developed.
And finally, here is advice for future generations in Karshi and beyond, resonating with all youths across the nation.
A good number of them, I'm worried, go to school, but it's as good as they have not gone to any school at all. So the quality of the product is so bad that no employer of repute will employ them because they simply will not be able to do the work. They will have the certificate, but when you ask them to do certain things that have to do with what they learn in school, you will be shocked as if they have not learned anything at all. So, and if they will go around parading that they have all sorts of degrees and they do not get these jobs either because the jobs are not available or they are unemployable, then you have a big problem. So the thing is to improve on the quality of education such that if you cannot have a job here, you can be a citizen of the world, meaning you can go to any part of the world as long as you have the skills and the knowledge. You can say, okay, there are not only I can go to the Middle East, I can go to there, I can go to wherever and work. This is one of the major problems we are facing.
As a result of these milestone achievements and stability in development under the kingship of His Royal Highness Ismail Danladi Muhammad, Heroes of Abuja celebrates him as a legend and hero with a lasting footprint.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
On the news at 1, federal government pays tribute to late President Buhari at National Memorial Service. NUJ FCT Council organizes free medical outreach to mark Press Week. And schools in the FCT marks graduation ceremony as academic session ends. Hello there, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the news desk of NTA Channel 5 Abuja at 1. I am Tessie Omeri with the details. Nigerians have been called upon to reflect on the enduring legacies of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, made the call on Sunday at the National Church Service, which was observed to mourn the former president. Akume described the late President Buhari as a disciplined and principled leader whose life and service exemplified conviction, patriotism, and integrity. His legacy in national security, social protection, and institutional reforms, including the Petroleum Industry Act, will remain part of Nigeria's development history. The SGF also commended President Tinubu for approving the renaming of the University of Maiduguri to Muhammadu Buhari University, Maiduguri, in honor of the late president's contributions to national development. This gesture is not merely symbolic, it is about inspiring future generations to lead with courage and sacrifice. As President Buhari did the solemn memorial service was attended by the representative of the President of the Senate, Deputy Senate Majority Whip Onyekachi Nwaboyi, members of the National Assembly, ministers, top government officials, former secretary to the government of the Federation, retired permanent secretaries, and other dignitaries. Meanwhile, to mark the 7th day since the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nawar Auden Society in Abuja organized a special prayer session in his honor. The gathering brought together religious leaders and members of the Muslim community who offered prayers for the repose of his soul and reflected on his legacy of integrity, discipline, and national service. Rabia Shuaib brings us details.
The chief imam led heartfelt prayers, asking Allah to grant the late president Al-Jannah Firdaus, forgive his sins, and protect him from the punishment of the grave. He praised Buhari's legacy of honesty and urged younger politicians to emulate his sincerity and firm stance against corruption.
Lessons for the younger ones, because when they look back, they are looking for the younger ones to take over the governance of the nation. So the first and foremost is sincerity. The late president was honest to the core.
Chairman, Nawaruddin Society of Nigeria described the late leader as an exemplary figure who served Nigeria with dedication and selflessness.
Baba, he has shown us a lot of examples which we can then imbibe. And when you know him very well, he actually championed war against indiscipline, which is also in line with Islamic faith. We must be disciplined. The way we do things, we must be disciplined.
In a tribute, the national chairperson of the Women's Wing remembered him as a man of high moral standing and unwavering integrity.
He's a good man and he's a great man of high moral and high integrity. So I pray whatever the shortcomings any Nigeria is seeing from him, may Allah forgive him of all his shortcomings, and may Allah Almighty grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus.
The session concluded with collective supplications for peace upon his soul and comfort for the nation he once led. In Abuja, Rabiat Shaib, NTA News.
And on security matters now, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, FCT Command, has graduated 250 personnel after a rigorous training in basic sign language. FCT Commandant Olushola Odumosu described the program as a significant stride towards fostering inclusive security services in the Federal Capital Territory, while he urges the officers to remain dedicated and resilient in their duties.
The initiative is tailored to bridge communication gaps between security personnel and members of the deaf and hard of hearing community. Beyond improving service delivery, the training also aims to enhance intelligence gathering and response capabilities. Representatives from sister security agencies, institutions, and stakeholders lauded the program, describing it as a model for inclusive policing and community engagement.
The graduation of these dedicated civil defense staff from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps FCT Command, trained in sign language, marks a crucial step forward and upward, scaled and sustainable in the collective action promoting disability inclusion.
Those that have disabilities, they are part of the community.
They were bold enough to come out and stand here and interpret.
So as to bridge communication gap for the deaf and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps.
Jointly organized with Deaf in Tech and the National Association of the Deaf, the event reached an emotional high point with a performance by the deaf community titled Justice Has No Sound. Commandant Odumosu was honored with an award for his dedication. He reaffirms the Corps' commitment to protecting the rights and dignity of all citizens.
Various training and retraining initiatives and the milestone achieved in the last 2 years are all part of our deliberate strategy to build a resilient, professional, an inclusive security outfit.
With the theme Advancing Public Safety Through Inclusivity, the event marked a milestone in security sector reform with certificates presented to participants. Kama, NTA News.
Recognizing the demanding nature of their profession, journalists in the Federal Capital Territory have benefited from a free medical outreach. This vital initiative by the Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ FCT Council, in collaboration with Nizamiye Hospital, seeks to bridge existing health gaps among media practitioners. Elizabeth Omori reports that the medical outreach is one of the activities designed to commemorate the 2025 NUJ FCT Council Press Week.
So, I have just been checked.
It's not the usual day at the NUJ FCT Secretariat. The business this time is about health and well-being. Queen Kunde is the editor of ZT Online News and has been practicing journalism for 23 years. She says media practitioners must prioritize their health as they meet deadlines.
You have to spend hours seated at an event covering it, and then you come back trying to either transcribe or write out just about 7 paragraphs or thereabout to ensure that you capture the essence of that event to become news. Quite strenuous.
Medical checks such as eye examination, blood pressure and sugar tests were part of health services made available.
Let us remember that a healthy journalist is a strong advocate for truth. If you're not strong, I doubt if you can go to the field.
Cataract, we actually promise to do that free of charge, and if there is any necessary for other surgeries too, we can handle that.
Health checks are very important, at least the basic ones, because it is when you are detected early, when any ailment is detected early, that is when they can attend to it.
They believe addressing the health needs of journalists require a comprehensive approach, which includes access to affordable and quality health care, the call for improved welfare to reduce economic burden that often contributes to health-related issues. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And from health, let's talk education. Field of Greatness Gifts Academy in Buari says it remains committed to providing quality education that nurtures great minds and equip them with the skills needed to make positive contributions to humanity. This indication was at the school's 2025 speech prize giving and graduation ceremony. Onotu Yakubu brings us details.
It was a day of celebration at the Field of Greatness Gifts Academy as students, teachers and parents marked the end of the academic year with color and emotion. With an atmosphere filled with excitement and nostalgia, they reflected on the shared memories and milestones of their academic journey.
Two children have been staying for 6 months while they care for her at the hospital.
The land is great, the people good, Nigeria my fatherland.
I'm moving to another new school. I'm making friends. I feel happy. I feel excited.
The teaches us how to be intelligent, kind, and loving.
My big mommy and HM with all my teachers and my fellow students, they have been so kind to me.
The event featured a variety of performances, valedictory speeches by young scholars and representatives of the graduating students were regarded as most outstanding, highlighting their growth and experiences.
They deliver very well. The academic system is very sound and the moral is very sound.
I must applaud the school for a great work they are doing in the life of these seats.
The management of the school, kudos to them. They are trying and they should keep it up.
The plans God has for her may it come to fulfillment and accomplishment.
I want to state it very
Proprietress of the school noted that FGGA is focused on instilling the right values, academic excellence, confidence and character in its learners as part of principles the institution has upheld since its establishment.
As an academician, I follow up their progresses through their parents, and it's been awesome.
My dream is that the foundation they have gotten here should not sour. They should excel everywhere they are.
They will continue with what they were being taught here. They should not deviate from it, and they should hold God firm.
With optimism, the school pledged that it will continue to pursue its vision of raising academically and sound individuals by maintaining a value-driven approach to learning. Onoto Yakobo, NTA News.
Obstacles to opportunities was the theme for this year's 2025 graduation and speech and prize-giving day of Al-Amin International School, Abuja. The event drew commendations from parents who applauded the school's high educational standards and its impact on learners. This year, 24 students graduated with outstanding results. Sophia Noma Uchi has more.
A cheerful gathering of parents, guardians and well-wishers, all beaming with pride as they watched the beautifully dressed and intelligent graduates of Al-Amin International School, Abuja, take the spotlight to showcase a glimpse of the knowledge and values instilled in them over the years. A warm welcome address by the amiable director of the school, Jumai Sambu, who proudly presented the graduates to their parents, making the beginning of a new phase in their lives. Then the performances from the school choir and other exciting presentations by different sects. Highlight of the event was a talk show focused on raising male children to become responsible men. Director of the school, assisted by Aisha Babangida, presented gifts to dedicated teachers in appreciation of their efforts. Special guest of honor, Ambassador Aishatu Aliu Musa, in her goodwill message, encouraged graduates on the strength of possibility and determination, with the teachers rendering a special song in memory of the school's founder, Mariam Babangida. Deserving students who had distinguished themselves in character and academics were honored with gifts and certificates.
Thank you so much to my teachers. Thank you to every staff in the school. Thank you so much for bringing me up and everything. I'm grateful.
I hope she will maintain that standard and graduate with flying colors when she goes to the university.
The moment of glory belonged to Mariam Malabo, who was celebrated as the overall best graduating student 2025. Parents expressed their deep satisfaction with the standard of education the awards receive.
They've come a long way, because when I came into Abuja, I was looking for a school with, not only the quality, but how my children are going to be trained. And I came across Al-Amin, and I found it worthy.
I'm very impressed, you understand. They have kept up the standard even after her, it has continued to be very good, you understand. And we wish them all the best, you understand. I hope they keep up the standard.
Every year is a special year for us because we've just increased, getting better and producing world leaders.
I wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. Like I said, they should remain steadfast with prayers, and then remembering the fact that we taught them respect, obedience, and integrity.
Al-Amin International School is known for quality education offered in serene environment. Sophia Noma Uchi, NTA News.
We have more reports on schools graduation, but that will be after this break. Do stay with us. The News at 1 continues in just a moment.
Good evening, glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me. And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
I will celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The Unity Station, NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Thank you for staying tuned. The International Center for Islamic and Cultural Education, Al-Nur Academy in Abuja, is marking a decade of academic and moral impact with its 8th graduation ceremony. The ceremony brought together graduating students, parents, and guests to honor the school's commitment to providing both Islamic and conventional education. Rabia Chuaib brings us details.
Under the theme A Decade of Light, Roots and Wings, ICICE Al-Nur Academy, renowned for its commitment to academic excellence and Islamic values, hosted families, dignitaries, and well-wishers to celebrate its 8th graduation ceremony and 10th year anniversary.
ICICE Al-Nur Academy has grown from strength to strength, becoming a beacon of quality education and Islamic values.
The graduating Year 12 students were ushered in with pride, reflecting the school's success in nurturing not just scholars, but future leaders grounded in faith and discipline. The ceremony affirmed the school's holistic approach, where learning the Quran complements academic achievements.
Al-Nur Academy is more than a school. It's a center. It's a hub for knowledge and Islamic morals.
We've done our possible best to give them what we are supposed to give them, the moral and the discipline. And I pray may Allah assist them in upholding that.
During the award and prize giving session, Minister of State for Education, Professor Suiba Ahmad, presented awards to pioneer staff recognized for excellence, character, and dedicated service.
When I first came to this school, I was more on the reserved side and I wasn't really that much conscious of my peers. But now I try my best. I've learned how to incorporate my peers' ideas into mine so that we can flourish.
I feel happy, surprised, and it feels like I was in year 5 yesterday. I look forward to making it in life and making both my teachers and parents proud.
Parents also expressed deep satisfaction, praising Al-Nur as a school where children are raised with the best in both knowledge and faith.
I have a very big aspiration for the graduates, and I expect them to maintain the momentum.
I wish them the very best in life. I heard when they were calling each of them, they had already mapped out their plans for the future. Some of them want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, even businessmen. Can't thank them enough for what they have done for our children, really.
With a decade behind it and a promising future ahead, ICICE Al-Nur Academy reassures that it stands firm, rooted in faith, driven by knowledge, and ready to shape the next generation. In Abuja, Rabia Shaib, NTA News.
Still talking schools graduation, Kenford Academy has once again demonstrated its commitment to nurturing bright minds and promoting academic excellence. The school's valedictory service and the prize-giving ceremony honored deserving students for their outstanding performance and good conduct. Isaac Jubu reports that the event brought together parents, staff, and invited guests to celebrate the students' achievements and motivate them for future success.
I have some people close to me here. Let's hear from them.
As students prepare to embark on the next stage of their academic journey, the valedictory and prize-giving ceremony served as a fitting tribute to their accomplishments.
Kenford Academy is a pace-setter school that set the pace for other schools to follow. And I can assure you that most of our students who have graduated from the school are doing well, not just Nigeria alone, but all over the world.
His Royal Highness, of which I'm representing, is also interested in the upbringing of the youth in education. So if we can get such kind of assistance, bringing university to Kwali Area Council, we will be very happy.
I am quite impressed
especially for this school. They seem to have put in so much. Their students are doing very well.
The ceremony featured a range of highlights, including the transition of leadership, cultural dance performances, award presentations, a debate on artificial intelligence sustainability, and news presentation. Outstanding graduating students were honored for their exceptional performance in various subjects and areas, with some receiving full and 50% scholarship to further their education at Prime University, Abuja, as declared by the Vice Chancellor, Prof. Musa Mohammed. Parents were visibly proud of their children's academic achievements.
But came for school as a way of bringing out the best in you. They brought out the best in my children, and their stars being celebrated in their various classes today.
The school's principal, Perpetual Okoro, expressed gratitude to parents and staff for their support and encouragement, which significantly contributed to the students' success.
It's a great experience, especially among my peers and my juniors. Me leaving this school, I have to leave a mark on this school.
Consistency and persistency is always the option. Never give up in your goals and everything. So in anything you do, you should be always consistent in it.
I didn't expect that I'll be getting most of the awards. So I'm happy.
The event inspired students to aim even higher in their future endeavors, and Kemford Academic reaffirmed its commitments to shaping bright minds and promoting academic excellence among its students. Isaac Jibo, NTA News.
113 pupils from Esteem Learning Center, spanning nursery, primary, and secondary levels, have been celebrated for their outstanding academic performance. As they prepare to progress to the next stage of their educational journey, the pupils were advised to uphold good conduct and moral values. Hawagimba reports that the event was a vibrant celebration of achievement, featuring graduating students adorned in ceremonial attire, sharing joyful moments with parents and guests.
The event hall was filled with parents, guests and pupils reflecting vibrant spirit of Extreme Learning Center. Proud parents captured every moment on their phones, their eyes filled with joy, knowing their children are growing into confident, capable individuals. Students and pupils from nursery and primary section took turns to display their talents in poems and sang songs of hope and farewell, each act reminding everyone of the richness of childhood and the power of education. And determination.
The parents should take care of the children, but the most of the men that have at times, it is from the teaching of the parents. When you don't take care of your children, you don't.
For our graduating students, I said a big congratulations to all of you.
With farewells, the graduates of Extreme Learning Center have proven that with guidance, values and the right environment, every child can shine. Some parents shared testimonies of transformation, their children once shy and struggling, now bold, expressive and academically outstanding.
Our children going ahead should now look at the evils in the society. My son has finished school, has become a better person.
The management of Extreme Learning Center, it is a moment of fulfillment, a confirmation that their commitment to excellence and holistic education is paying off.
Most of our students are in great shape to face the world. Wonderful people, even
Many testified is raising a generation that is not only academically sound but emotionally grounded, culturally aware and morally upright. Hawagimba, NTA News.
And now to the world of sports. Meanwhile, our sincere apology for the bad audio in some parts of that report. Please do bear with us.
Nigeria's women basketball team, the Tigers, will begin preparations for the 2025 Women's Afro Basketball Championship this weekend in Abuja. According to updates from the team, the invited players are expected to start arriving in the Federal Capital over the weekend to kick off training. To ease their travel, return tickets have already been sent to the players by the Nigerian Basketball Federation, led by head coach Rena Makama. The Tigers will head into the tournament as defending champions, aiming to clinch their 5th consecutive Afro Basketball title. And moving on to women's football, South Africa's Bayana head coach Desiree Ellis has issued a bold statement ahead of their highly anticipated semi-final clash against Nigeria at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The defending champions secured their spot in the last 4 after edging out Senegal 4-1 on the penalties in a tense quarter-final match on Saturday night. Despite Nigeria's status as 9-time champions, Ellis remained hopeful about her team's chances as she says, "We know what this match means. We know what it takes to beat Nigeria." The semi-final fixture is scheduled for Tuesday at the Lombardi Stadium in Casablanca, Morocco. And finally, the Nigerian Super Falcons have returned to training barely 24 hours after their emphatic 5-0 quarter-final victory over Zambia at the 2024 African Women's Nations Cup. The 9-time African champions hit the pitch on Sunday to begin preparations for their high-stake semi-final clash against defending champions South Africa, scheduled for Tuesday. With Sports Brief, Moses Kuye, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. We thank you for watching. We have more reports at 7. For now, enjoy the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Years into President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, Correspondent takes an in-depth look at the key developments shaping Nigeria's transport industry, driving economic growth, and enhancing transportation options for Nigerians. And First Lady Oluremi Tinubu's Renewed Hope initiative takes capacity building for women empowerment to Nasarawa State, providing them with opportunities for economic and personal growth. Plus, in Ondo State, Leprosarium has provided shelter and support for leprosy patients, offering them a chance of living a normal life. Hello and welcome to the Correspondence this week. As usual, the program promises to be educative and engaging. I'm Zenred Dingmun, and thanks for being here. Let's begin with transportation. Now, Nigeria's transport sector has made notable progress under President Tinubu's administration, driving economic growth and enhancing transportation options for citizens. Our transport correspondent, Ladi Bala, takes an in-depth look at the key developments that are shaping the industry.
Robust and effective transportation systems are the backbone of economic growth and societal development. No nation can achieve significant progress in social, economic, and political advancement without a comprehensive transport system.
Transportation is the artery through which the live stream of all economic activities runs. Without it, economic freezes. Immediately transportation shut down, economy is in comatose. So, to boost economy, you have to boost your transportation.
That is why President Bola Tinubu's administration has prioritized transforming the Nigerian transport sector. The Federal Ministry of Transportation, through the Nigerian Railway Corporation, has embarked on revitalizing the railway system. The Abuja-Kaduna rail line has been refurbished and expanded, while the Lagos-Ibadan rail line, Africa's first standard gauge double-track railway, spans 156 kilometers with 9 stations. The completion and commissioning of the Port Harcourt-Aba rail line is another milestone, boosting economic activities from the southeast to other parts of the country. The Kaduna-Kano Maradi railway projects are at 50% completion, and efforts are underway to utilize the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line for the Northeast Corridor.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has directed the ministry to continue with the execution of all the projects under railway modernization, from Lagos to Maradi, from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. The idea is to link the eastern and the western port to the hinterland. So all the impression is to be addressed to the members of the National Assembly so that they will tell Nigerians what they have seen and what is their impression on the project.
We have appropriated huge amount of money as far back as year 2022, a supplementary budget of 2023, a supplementary budget of 2024. And we are here to see what has been done with the huge amount of money already appropriated by the National Assembly. So far we are impressed with the level of mobilization. The equipment we have seen are first-class equipment, higher technology equipment being deployed for this purpose.
In recent years, the federal government has provided free train rides during festive periods and 50% discounted transport fares, a widely applauded initiative.
I feel safer entering the train from Port Harcourt to Aba, more like entering the road. Like you can see, I'm having my 2 kids here. I can't take them to that road. That's why we decided. We imagine we came all the way from Iwofe Road down here to come and enter this train. It's far cheap, it's more economical, and it's more safer.
A flagship initiative of this administration is the transition from petrol to compressed natural gas, easing costs and providing an eco-friendly alternative energy source.
A lot have been done in time of CNG. The first thing is to ensure safety. We put in place accreditation program where workshops that we do conversion are accredited, and today we have accredited workshop across the whole country.
As President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda marks 2 years, there are indications that the Federal Ministry of Transportation will continue to play a vital role in shaping, expanding, and improving Nigeria's transportation sector to compete with advanced countries.
Ladi Bala now joins us to discuss more on transportation sector and achievements so far. It's good to see you on the correspondence, Ladi.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now let's start. What progress has Nigeria's transport sector made under President Tinubu's administration? Of course, we've seen part of it in your report, but let's specifically key into the railway sector.
Oh, thank you so very much. The present administration has achieved so much in the transportation sector. Even though you want me to zero down on railway, but I need to equally say we have the federal government is working towards having an integrated transportation system, and that is why we see a lot of reforms taking place in the aviation sector, and also in the construction of roads, talking about the Lagos, Calabar, Coastal, Superhighway, and also in the railway sector. The federal government has significantly invested in that sector, and as it is right now, the sector is experiencing some kind of revolution, or rather modernization of the railway sector. Part of what the federal government did under the Tinubu administration, firstly, is to ensure that the railway is removed from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. And the essence of that is to open up the sector for state government, to get involved. The federal government ensured that they invested in infrastructure of the railway. And we see an upgrade and expansion of the Kaduna, Abuja-Kaduna rail. And we see the completion of Lagos-Ibadan railway, and that of Port Harcourt-Calabar. On all this corridor, we see a lot of economic activities, taking place, and Nigerians are enjoying reduction in the cost of transportation fare. The economy has been stimulated. We now have a lot of trade and commerce activities taking place. Aside the discongestion on our roads, and the Nigerians have to now travel on, via rail, is safer. The federal government has done so much in terms of investment in the railway. Is it the compressed natural gas initiative, the presidential compressed natural gas initiative? These are some of the investment that the federal government did.
Okay, Ladi, let's talk about the improvements that have been made so far to the transportation options for Nigerian citizens. Of course, you started talking about CNG, but can we get a more elaborate part of that, especially with the CNG? Just recently you did a report on a coach that was given to the Railway Corporation. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, okay. The options available for Nigerians made possible by the Tinubu administration. The key flagship improvement, in terms of option, is the initiative, the presidential initiative on compressed natural gas. Before now, Nigerians rely on petrol to run their vehicles, and with the removal of fuel subsidy, we realized that the cost of transportation skyrocketed, and this has its ripple effects on the economy. The purchasing power of Nigerians were affected, and things were not really, the cost of living, became high. And so the federal government came up with this compressed natural gas initiative, where vehicles in Nigeria are now being converted from the use of petrol to compressed natural gas, which is environmentally friendly, cost effective, and is safe, is actually safe. And this initiative have been launched, and state governments are buying into it, and different organizations, have been provided with this vehicle to just reduce the cost of transportation. Everything revolves around transportation. And so with these CNG buses, we now have a reduction in cost of transportation. Even the owner of vehicles are comfortable, driving on compressed natural gas, even though the only challenge right now is that we don't have so many stations spread. We don't have stations spread across the country. And I think that is one effort that the federal government is currently doing. The bottom line is, if all state government will invest in the purchase of compressed natural gas vehicles that use compressed natural gas, even though some states have key. In Adamawa State is one, Borno State, Jigawa. We have a handful of state government that have enrolled into this initiative. And in all honesty, it is reducing the cost of transportation in various states. Here in FCT, we have it. The federal government gave to labor movement, to NATO, to NURTW, that there's this collaboration, among stakeholders, key stakeholders, to drive this initiative. And I think it's just a matter of time, because it's not just about the compressed natural gas. We also need stations spread across the country where people can, commuters can access, the gas, in the case of traveling. And we see how this has helped, especially during the Yuletide season. The federal government, brought out, compressed natural buses using compressed natural gas and reduced the cost of transport fare by 50% to Nigerians during Christmas, New Year, and even during other festive periods.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, but let me just ask this, since you mentioned it. NATO and NURTW, they're getting collaborations with the federal government when it comes to CNG. But does this trickle down to the consumers of transportation now? That's every day people go out, and you still hear complaints of, high transportation fares here and there. It might not be a general thing, but there are still complaints. Do you see that when you go out for your reports?
Yes, we can't eliminate the human factor. The federal, we often say that governance is a collective responsibility. If the federal government is taking the initiative to provide these buses and collaborating with the critical stakeholders in the transport sector, like the NYT, the NATO, and providing them with buses, it is expected that they too will invest, in the scheme. Because for the transportation sector to thrive in Nigeria, it requires the participation of the private sector. Government alone cannot make this sector more vibrant. It takes the private sector to drive the transport system in every nation. Nigeria cannot be an exception. So that collaboration is there, the buses are there, but I think what is lacking is what needs more to be done is the purchasing, that all the stakeholders need to purchase more buses and put them out there. The buses are not too many. For instance, in FCT, you find those buses at the outskirts, not within the metropolis. They're out there covering the outskirts of the country, of the FCT. Isn't it? Yes, and that is just for the low-income people. And I think they are benefiting. We've gone around, we've seen that people are really enjoying it. The only problem is just that the buses are not too many. But I know the project is just taking off. Let's just say it's just 2 years down the line. So I believe that by the end of the Tinubu administration, we'll have more people invested into that.
Now, as a reporter covering the transportation bits now, can you share with us your experience? What have you seen? What have you learned? And what do you think needs, a little bit of tweaking to make it, better?
Oh, thank you very much. As a reporter covering the transportation sector, I've come to realize, having engaged with different stakeholders, from the Ministry of Transportation to those in the National Assembly and other stakeholders, I've come to realize that the transportation, particularly railway, is the next oil in Nigeria. And if that is the situation, the facts on ground, I think what I've observed that needs to be done is investment. And I think government, like I said earlier, has taken the right initiative by, removing railway from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. Investment, not in infrastructure. And when we talk about infrastructure is not limited, to tracks and train. Infrastructure has to do, for instance, what is required now is having a dedicated power supply scheme, and real-time monitoring. Because without a dedicated power supply scheme, to run the railway sector effectively, it will be difficult. And security is key in terms of transportation, the railway. So there is the need for investment, in that sector. Recently, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Transportation, is able to woo some Chinese investors, and the Ministry of Transportation, the minister revealed to journalists recently that Nigeria has secured the biggest investment ever, in railway sector. The investment, according to the minister, will surpass, all the investment that has been done in the railway sector in the last 60 years. And if this is anything to go by, then Nigeria is in for a game change.
Well, it's a good thing that the initiative has taken off, and we hope to see more improvements with time. Thank you so much, Ladi, for this insightful information, and we hope to see more of you on The Correspondence.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Let's take some messages now. The program continues in a moment.
Fellow Nigerians, this period may be hard on us, and there is no doubt that it's tough on us. But I urge you all to look beyond the present temporary pains and aim at the larger picture. All our good and helpful plans are in the works. More importantly, I know that they will work.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, the program is The Correspondence, and now to women empowerment. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is spearheading a capacity-building initiative under the Renewed Hope agenda, empowering thousands of women across the 6 geopolitical zones. And Nasarawa is one of the benefiting states of the program, with remarkable impact on rural women. Abigail Abashi is our guide.
From economic empowerment, food outreach scheme, skills development to social welfare and education, the Renewed Hope initiative, spearheaded by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, is reaching out to the people across the country, and Nasarawa State is not left out.
The vulnerable people, she really helped them. Empowerment, the elderly people, the disabled, she really helped. We want you to support this government for more dividends of democracy.
Initiatives like the training and empowerment of women farmers, distribution of home appliances, among others, has yielded positive impact, stimulating economic activity.
Today, I thank God that among the beneficiaries, this gas cooker will help me in many ways. So with this, it will help me in my baking business. So I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers, to the First Lady, for giving us this opportunity.
The wife of Nasarawa State Governor, Silifat Abdullahi Sule, through her pet project, has empowered many and facilitated the training of women and youths in technical and vocational skills, such as welding and fabrication, hairdressing, bakery, cosmetology, carpentry and tailoring.
And by the help of our mommy, she gave me this oven, and I'm very grateful for it.
Due to this empowerment, the fridge, the deep freezer, Her Excellency gave it to us. I have an improvement.
For Gabriel Abraba, a trainee on welding and fabrication, and others, one of their major constraints is unsteady power supply, and appeal to the relevant authorities to look into it for effective collaboration, especially at the grassroots. The governor's wife, Silifat Abdullahi Sule, has been interfacing with wives of the 13 local government chairmen in the state on the prospects of the Renewed Hope initiative, which is aimed at improving lives of rural women and the less privileged.
SARS-CoV Foundation, in collaboration with Renew Hope Foundation, support 250 vulnerable elderly. While the beneficiaries, they are up to 1,000. The second edition of the elderly support program, they were given to 200,000 each to support them.
For the beneficiaries, the initiative is a testament to the First Lady's commitment to transform lives and called for more of such programs.
Represents progress in a national effort to restore hope,
dignity, safety, and patriotism to fellow Nigerians. This development reaffirms the commitment of the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, which aims to enhance social welfare programs for all Nigerians.
Commends the first lady of this nation, the wife of the president, Mrs. Senator Oleremi Tinubu, for making an impact to the life of persons living with disability.
You will agree that empowerment programs, no matter how little or big, often serves as an opportunity to unlock the potentials of individuals, boost productivity, and enhance economic growth.
Well done, Abigail, for capturing the remarkable impact of the First Lady's capacity building initiative on rural women in Nasarawa State. Your report highlights the transformative power of empowering women. Now, moving on, for over 8 years, the Leprosarium in Akure, Ondo State, has provided a safe haven for individuals living with leprosy. Toyin Batire visits the facility to highlight the resident stories and examine the efforts of the state government and well-meaning individuals to enhance their lives.
The Leprosarium in Akure, Ondo State, known as Agoreti, meaning the Camp of Hope, is located along Obaile axis of the state capital. Established 82 years ago, the facility was created as a refuge for persons affected by leprosy, shifting away from the long-standing culture of isolation and neglect. Over the decades, successive governments, along with well-meaning individuals and organizations, have made deliberate efforts to improve the welfare of the residents by providing basic social amenities and working to create a more dignified living environment.
We received the increment of 5,000 naira per head. That makes it 15,000 per head.
Despite these interventions, residents continue to express concerns over their living conditions, calling for better welfare support and improved access to essential services.
With the little money we receive, we buy our drugs by ourselves. Unless the one that philanthropists bring. Our children has graduated from the university. We struggle very hard to see that we sponsor them.
Ondo State government, on its part, says efforts are ongoing to enhance the standard of living at the Leprosarium with a focus on infrastructure upgrades, access to medical care, and social support for the residents.
We have also included them in all of the empowerment programs currently ongoing in the ministry.
There are caregivers that do care for them. They are not only caregivers, we also have people who are there to rehabilitate them.
Currently, the facility is home to over 200 individuals, including 69 persons undergoing treatment for leprosy.
Great job. Your report raises awareness about the challenges faced by individuals living with leprosy and the importance of support and understanding. Thank you for that report. And this is where we wrap it all up on the correspondence this week. We do hope to see you again same time for another package. From all of us, it's bye for now.
Hello everyone. Proud African Roots presents a fun time for children and teenagers across Nigeria and the globe.
Everything she was trying to open the
I don't need a torch, I just need that.
Hope you learned a thing or two from my showing every Saturday by 9:30 a.m. on NTA Network. It is going to be a fun time with Grandma Wura and all the Blue Table Talk with Dave and Jess. Catch you soon!
Behind the glamour of Nigerian's entertainment industry, a sinister reality lurks. Many artists are struggling to survive, and their health is paying the price.
An entertainer must have a health
programs or health meetings or health bookings. What we do as entertainers is not an easy business. You understand? Because when you're doing anything that has to do with entertainment, all your body system is working.
Welcome to Africa, the land of ancient civilization.
Thank you for joining us. Here is the news update. I'm Ruth Aguele. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba clung on Monday even after an election debacle left his coalition without a majority in the upper house as painful new U.S. tariffs looms. In Sunday's election, Ishiba's Liberal Democratic Party, which has governed almost continuously since 1955, and its partner Komeito fell a projected 3 seats short of retaining a majority in the upper house. Voters angry at inflation turned to other parties, notably the Japanese First, Sanseito, which made strong gains with its anti-global echoing the agenda of populist parties